fighting a guy that no one expects to do well. As the favorite, you have to be mature enough and humble enough to stay at the drawing board, stay in practice, take your opponent extremely seriously. I take Anthony Smith extremely serious. He has 40 fights. He has double the experience I have, and we're going to treat him like that type of person, despite how other people feel about him. And he'll get my undivided full attention.
Do you think that John is underestimating you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're as dominant as he's been, without as many challenges, and he doesn't necessarily have to answer all the time for the stuff that he does, I don't know how you could think that he's taking me seriously. And like, think about this: how many times have you guys heard me say that I'm taking Jon Jones seriously? I don't have to say it,
right?
So on 4 or 5 different occasions, he's had to say it over and over and over again without being asked. No one's asking John if he's taking me seriously at all. The only person they're asking is me. So I don't know why. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or convince himself, but I just don't. I don't think that his arrogance and his confidence will let him see a valid threat.
I have a lot of admiration for Anthony Smith. Just the fact that he had to battle back just to get back into the UFC like he has, and seeing his current win streak and how he has gone about it is extremely impressive. And I think he does have a lot of power that Jon Jones has to be careful with. But when it comes to the 205-pound division, it's very simple. There's Daniel Cormier, there's Jon Jones, and then there's everybody else. And Anthony Smith has beaten some tough guys, but no one even close to the level and the kind of skills that Jon Jones brings into the octagon. I don't see Anthony Smith really showing anything to Jon Jones that he hasn't seen before. I think the one thing he has going for him is that he does have an interesting rhythm. It's kind of an offbeat rhythm that can throw you off a little bit. He has an unorthodox style, so the way that he throws punches, the timing of it can be hard to read. But I think Jon Jones has developed at an amazing rate, both offensively and defensively. And I don't think there's a lot of guys that can mix it up and throw the kind of combinations and combine that with an octagon intelligence that Jon Jones has. It's just extremely rare. Jon Jones knows exactly how he needs to beat you, and that's because of his own intelligence that he brings out into the octagon, and also the excellent coaching that he brings into the octagon. I see Jon Jones winning this in round 1. I see him confusing Anthony Smith. I see him beating him up to the body, taking the fight to the ground either by a knockdown or a takedown, and finishing off Anthony Smith in round 1 by TKO.
The clean is ours. About 190 something right now, looking fat as shit.
Have you watched a lot of tape on him?
I particularly don't watch a lot of tape on him. I've seen him fight before. I allow my coaches to put in the work, and I just focus on what I'm going to do. I know what his capabilities and what his best assets are. I know him. I can see him. I've seen him. I can feel it. So it's almost my time. I believe in I put my trust in my coaches. That's where my outward focus goes when I look to figure out an opponent. I let my coach Eric Del Fiero, the head coach at Alliance, figure that stuff out for me, and let my coaches just put me into the mission of what I'm going to do, what I'm going to implement my game plan, and we're going to run right through them.
Based off of what you have seen from him thus far, are you impressed?
Yeah, of course. I respect everybody who steps inside the octagon. Do I feel like he's got what it takes to beat me? Absolutely not. Of course, I'm always going to be headed one way. My opponent's going to be headed the other way, and we're gonna collide. I feel like if we collide, he's going to feel the steel, and he's an aluminum type car, and I'm going to run right through him, like I said. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to fight such a talented young man, a Russian, somebody I've never really fought before, and his style. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm going to welcome it. And he's going to really feel what it's like to be in there with somebody like me.
So how do you feel about Max being your opponent for this title fight?
It's a little weird for him to jump up and get a crack at the interim belt, but at the same time, if I'm the next guy, this fight makes sense on the storyline that I beat him 7 years ago. You know, his first fight in the UFC, and look what he's done since then. He's defending his belt. He's undisputed world champion at 145. He beat arguably one of the best featherweights in the world twice, stopped him twice. I think he's on a 12-fight win streak. He's got all kind of records, all kind of numbers. He's really been doing his thing. And, you know, I've been a fan of Max since we fought. And this isn't that same fight. This is a completely different fight. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited for the challenge. Like I said, I honor this, man. This April 13th is going to be a beautiful night.